I know you've all been anticipating, waiting, pacing up and down, wondering when RTM is going to bring you that exciting football show again. For some of you, you've even been struggling to sleep and to eat, wondering when we'll feed you with the latest news in the world of football. Am I correct? I'm sure I'm right. But I have good news for you today. Looking down on my watch, the good news is that it is time again for the World Football Focus with me, Adelani Ogurende. On today's show, we'll bring you up to speed with the latest in the English Premier League. Arsenal got destroyed by Liverpool. Chelsea still stay on top. What is going to happen in the English Premier League? Who is going to win this English Premier League title? Because the title is still open. Everything is still undecided. And in the Spanish La Liga, it is still a three-horse race. Of course, I'm not alone. I'm not going to be analyzing these games alone. I'm with reputable guests in the form of Kule Ige and Alex Ike. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Welcome.
So, guys, we all missing Alex Ferguson because Manchester United are not getting the results. But I just want to find out quickly, which coach for you guys do you think is doing the best job right now? For you, Alex Ike, who do you think is doing the best job right now?
Definitely Mourinho. He's done a great job so far, so I give it up to him.
And Kulege, who do you think is the best coach in the Premier League at the moment?
Presently, right now. Okay, I could say the best coach presently right now in Premier League right now. I can think of Martinez. Mourinho hasn't done anything. Yes,
okay. So Roberto Martinez is the best coach for you. Well, guys at home, I don't know who is the best coach for you. I can say Arsene Wenger, and after the break, I'll be telling you why I don't think Arsene Wenger is the best coach in the Premier League at the moment. We're going to go into an in-depth discussion of why Arsenal got destroyed by Liverpool at Anfield. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the coaches that are actually making a big impact in the English Premier League. Kulege said Roberto Martinez is the best coach in the Premier League right now. And Alex Ike, I want to know, why didn't you, you pointed to Jose Mourinho, am I correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Why is that? Why is Jose Mourinho the best for you?
You know, he's not just the best. He's been the special one and he's still the special one.
Okay.
You see, Mourinho, he came into Chelsea. Everybody believed his second stint in Chelsea was going to be a problem, you know, trying to organize the team and everything. But he's done an exceptional job.
Yes.
You know, kept the players that he doesn't need to play the players that are playing well. And, you know, nobody believed they can get rid of Mata and still be able to hold up the, you know, the team the way it is. He's done a great job. You know, we all think, you know, selling Mata to Manchester United was a mistake, but he's actually proved us all wrong, that he's right in what he's doing, and I give it up for him. He's a wonderful coach.
Well, wonderful coach indeed. Before the break, if you would remember, I was talking about Arsene Wenger. We can't ignore Arsene Wenger. Most of this season, Arsenal has led the league, and Arsene Wenger has been the one behind that team making all the key decisions. Now, Arsene Wenger, I'm not sure whether it was a tactical mistake against Liverpool, but they were totally hammered at Anfield. What do you make out of that, Kolege?
Well,
a bad day at the office, maybe?
Exactly, you can put it that way, a bad day at the office. It's always like that. It's a game of football, which you can never say. Okay. You understand? I didn't expect them, but eventually, it's always like that. So Liverpool is just one of I mean, they have their own day. That's it. Let me just put it there. Okay. They really enjoy their own day. That's all. Nothing else. It doesn't mean that maybe Arsenal does not match Liverpool or Liverpool is more bigger or whatever. It's still the same thing.
Now, you see, football critics.
You see Arsenal, Liverpool, sorry.
Okay.
I'm sure, you know, Brendan Rodgers in the dressing room, he spoke to his players. Guys, if you go out, if you can hit these guys in the first opening 5 to 10 minutes, we have a chance of winning this game. And that was exactly what they did.
It was just
they
bad
came
day.
in and they pushed.
It was just a bad day. Even when they came to Emirates, that's the way they attacked. But at the end of the day, they lose. You see, it's just a bad day, and we should expect that in the football, no matter how big or how small a team is.
Yes.
It's a football. You see, the other time when I said Mourinho, it's not a coach to me. You know, I was actually discussing. Mourinho is not a coach; he's a manager that can manage good players from one player to another.
I don't know.
But when we are talking about coach, Martinez still maintained the gravity and the standard of Everton up to this moment.
Yes,
you understand. Then Southampton coach, we could remember Southampton coach is a very good coach. I've been doing a lot of good jobs. So, and we can find players like Luke Shaw playing in there. So people are not, teams are looking around to even buy those players. So we're not talking about, a manager. That's why I try to explain to Mr. Ike that we're talking about a coach and a manager. Can you define a coach for me, and can you define a manager?
Wow, that is a very interesting question. Is there a difference between a coach and a manager? For me, it's all the same thing, but hey, what do I know? These are the experts in the studio right now. Now, moving on to other results in the English Premier League. Chelsea win 3-0 against Newcastle, and Crystal Palace 3-1 against West Brom. Manchester City also dropped points 0-0. Now, what is happening at Manchester City? There seems to be fatigue. Even with Arsenal, going back to the Arsenal game, it seemed like the players were a bit too tired just to go over the finish line. Do you think we're at the point of the season that the players are starting to get tired now? And it's starting to affect the results? You know,
definitely. Second part of the season is always very important. Okay, because this is the time, normally you have tired legs. Okay, you have players are tired, you have more games that you're playing. The Champions League is coming up, the FA Cup, and so players are actually getting tired. And also, I think Manchester City, this is a game you will actually expect them to win against Norwich. Norwich I think they should win this game, but they got a draw out of it. It wasn't a very good result for them. It wasn't a good result for them. So I think they're getting a bit tired, and the coach needs to make have faith in other players on the bench, so that they can rotate the squad, and keep our other players fresh.
Yes, we've spoken about the managers. Now we're talking about the players and how tired they seem to be getting. We're just going to touch on a few players now that critics have spoken about, that they're looking particularly tired, and their poor performances are starting to affect the game, especially at the top of the Premier League. We have Mesut Ozil of Arsenal. His performance in the 5-1 demolition at Anfield was just terrible. What's going on? Was Ozil a world-class player to begin with?
I think the 5-1 trash into Arsenal, it's not just Ozil. Every player in that field that day, they didn't play well. None of the players played well. It was only Wilshere who was actually trying to ginger the players, trying to make the players move faster and everything, but none of these Arsenal players, from the defense to the strike force, came to the party on Saturday. They didn't just play well. Arsenal had a very bad day, and and it cost them a valuable 3 points.
Could the same be said about Man City?
For me, Man City was just recovering from the thrashing that Chelsea gave them. They never believed that. Chelsea actually infected Man City, and they're trying to recover from that. And it's going to take them a bit of a time, because their ego has been dealt, they never believed they were going to lose to Chelsea on that day, but they did. And it's actually been, they just need to get their confidence back on the pitch and, get the result that they deserve.
And one player that is certainly not tired is Eden Hazard of Chelsea. He's been giving sterling performances week in, week out. He's becoming even more consistent, growing in confidence. Kulege, do you think Eden Hazard could be the next Cristiano Ronaldo?
Anyway, it's actually a good player, but it's a little bit too far from there to being Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a little bit too far. Hazard is a very good player, and it operates on that good atmosphere. Okay. And I really enjoyed his performance, his football and his performance. I'm telling you. But you see, to compare, it's, I mean, very little bit control. You can't compare Hazard and Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a playmaker. He can turn things in a few seconds. Hazard still has a lot of flaws around, I mean, ahead of him right now. Even that he committed a lot, but at least, probably maybe in the next 2-3 years, we'll see what he can do.
Okay.
But like that's what Mr. Ike said all the time, that you know, like what I said about Ozil the other time. Ozil have never been so spectacular in Arsenal.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Ozil has played 17 matches now for Arsenal now. He scored only 2 goals and 7 assists.
Wow.
So I think I've done that.
Wow.
He have never. He nearly lost his chances on Saturday. He has, I mean, there are so many times, if you look at when Arsenal lose or whenever they scored, try and look at Ozil and Wilshere.
Wow.
The problem is always from Ozil and Wilshere.
Wow.
Because whenever they lose, whenever they misplace or they misplay balls, they don't attack. And that's the difference between them and Hazard.
Wow.
Whenever Hazard loses any ball, he tries to track back.
You see, that's another thing you talk about in a coach. You know, you have to let your players play exactly how you want them to play. You know, that's the reason Mata, I keep saying it, couldn't flourish under Mourinho. You know, Mourinho wants you, if you lose the game, you have to come back and help your defenders. And that's how you can have a very good defense, a stronger defense. If you see, you know, the work rate of William, it's impeccable. You know, he loses the game, you see him coming back, marking the balls and everything. That's something you don't find in Arsenal.
Wow. The words of Alex Ike. The work rate at Chelsea is impeccable. Do you think at home that work rate is going to push Chelsea past the finish line? What do even my analysts here think? Who's going to win the Premier League for you?
It's still very open. It's still very open. City, okay. Arsenal, and Chelsea. But I'm still telling you. I'm still going to tell you right now. There's going to be a lot of flaws in between. City is going to lose some matches. Chelsea are still going to lose some matches.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Alex Ike, for you, you know, who are looking like the likely winners?
For me, the 2 people I can actually talk about is Chelsea and Manchester City. But for me, Manchester City still have a chance to make this league theirs. You know, they still have a game at hand, which if they can pick up 3 points on that game, they tie on points with Arsenal, with Chelsea.
I noticed Kule shaking his head profusely, disagreeing with what you're saying.
They are not going to win that match against Sunderland. Go and write it down. I told them here, I said they are not going to win this Norwich match. But they were listening. I mean, you remember, I was telling them they are not going to win this match against Norwich City. I know, obviously. I know what's going to happen. You see, when you are playing against teams that are going to relegation, then you have to be very careful, extremely very careful.
Listen, you know, Man City, if they can just pick up the form they had 4 or 5 weeks ago, they can win the league. They can win the league. They have the goal difference is just, you know, even if the league has to tie on point, I don't think Chelsea is going to score much goals, you know, to get to a place where they have the way they will tie on goals with Manchester City. So I believe the league, they still have a very big chance of winning the league. But if they slip up, then leave the league for Chelsea.
Chelsea cannot win the league. Go write it down. I'm telling you. Chelsea cannot win the league.
So come rain or sunshine, Chelsea cannot win.
They can't win this league. Even your coach or manager, what they call it, Mourinho, he knows already.
Mourinho he's just playing the mind game.
Forget about playing the mind game.
Down that he's not going to win the league.
Forget about playing the mind game.
Right in the dressing room, he's telling those guys, you can win this league. You can do this.
Thank God.
Okay, let's play it down and let's get ahead of ourselves.
I believe you are there when he's telling them.
At home, I know you're watching. It is really heating up in the studio right now. Alex Ike believes that Chelsea can do it, and Kulege doesn't agree. His words, he said, come rain or sunshine, Chelsea cannot win the league.
Write it down.
I'm looking at some results from the English Premier League. Tottenham 1, Everton 0. Guys, Tottenham of late, their form has been amazing, and that is all thanks to one man, Emmanuel Adebayo. What do you make out of his recent good form?
I think Adebayo is just telling AVB, you made a mistake, and that was why it cost you your job. You know, he's been very, very good of late. You know, scoring goals, making assists. As in, he's been very good this season, and as in since he came back, and it's showing in their results. You know, he scored last weekend, the only goal in the Everton game, and in midweek he got 2 goals. You know, he's been the power behind Tottenham since he came back, and is actually helping them. And I think if they keep pushing the way they're pushing, who knows?
Who knows?
You know,
indeed, who knows what might happen?
Yeah, you are very correct about that. Let me just chip in some little things about it. You see, that's why I'm saying the other time that can you define a coach for me and a manager? AVB is not a coach. It's like Mourinho. He's a manager. So eventually he bought some players, and in that when he bought him some players, Adebayo needs to go on bench.
Right.
So he could not use Adebayo. Sadado has been there, and you know how much they spent close to 100 million buying players.
AVB problem was never about coaching or about the players. AVB's problem is that he wants to be like Mourinho. He wants to be authoritative to the players. You don't rule players. You don't rule players. That's his problem.
And it actually doesn't look authoritative to the way. I mean, yeah, we said the way. It actually doesn't look authoritative to the players. His philosophy is quite very different from Mourinho's philosophy. Yes. But the major challenge that he has, and that most of them always face as a problem, you see, as a manager, you don't run after players. Mourinho does that a lot. You don't run after players. You don't run after good players. Even Ferguson, before he left, against Saha, he did that against Saha. He did that against Babatov. He did that against Rooney. You get a lot of players like that. You don't run after players because they are performing.
Wow, interesting.
So if you believe you want to, as a good coach, there's first thing as a good coach, you must be able to improvise. If you don't have a goalkeeper, you can turn your defender to be a goalkeeper, and he'll be a goalkeeper. Do you understand? That is a coach. A manager now look for anywhere to get a goalkeeper.
Wow.
Those are the 2 different things.
Wow. I'm really enjoying this discussion in the studio today. I hope you're all enjoying it also at home. Now, before we move out of the English Premier League, our English Premier League discussion, there's also been recent talk about Liverpool. They're only 4 points off the top now. Do you guys think Liverpool can do something this English Premier League season?
Staying in the top 4.
Yes.
But winning the league, totally out of it.
Totally out of it.
They can.
And Manchester United, do you think they can make top 4?
No, they can't. No, sincerely speaking, let me be logical with myself. They cannot stay in top 4. Sincerely speaking. And Liverpool, I don't guarantee Liverpool 50%, not even 100%.
Wow.
They can lose to all those small teams. That is how useless Liverpool could be sometimes. That you are wondering,
wow. He says they can lose to all those small teams. There's no such thing as a small team in the English Premier League this season. Because this season, just anybody can surprise you. Go and ask Manchester United. This week, they drew 2-2 to Fulham. Can you believe it? What is happening in the English Premier League? Now we have to talk about the Spanish La Liga, because the Spanish La Liga is just equally as interesting as the English Premier League. Let's face it, this season it's a 3-horse race between Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. For you, who do you think tactically? Now, hear this question. Tactically, which of these teams are the best out of the 3?
You see, the 3 teams, they are all very good teams, and they are playing well. Okay, but I think the league is going to be decided on the games within the 3 of them. The Real Madrid game against Atletico Madrid, the Real Madrid against Barcelona game, the Barcelona game against Atletico Madrid, the Barcelona against Madrid. That's the game. That's the games that are going to decide this league. If any of them drops points against each other, then they will have a problem. But I think their games within themselves, those are the games that will decide the winner, who is going to go home with a trophy this season.
Well, judging from the first rounds of matches between those 3 teams, Atletico Madrid surprisingly defeated Real Madrid 1-0, and they drew to Barcelona.
Exactly.
So, what do you make out of that, colleague?
No, you see the problem that Atletico is having right now, that you cannot eat your cake at the same time and have it. They need to be focused.
Okay.
If they are focused, they will win the league.
Okay.
You see, if they are focused, if they focus directly to the league, they will win. They call it PAMI. In the game of football, they call it PAMI. So if you are focused, they will win.
Right.
They are not that big as Barca or Real Madrid.
Now you came back, you just came back and you're contradicting yourself when you talk about buying big players and stuff. You need to buy players with experience.
Buying players,
spend money, get players with
buying
experience.
players is not. Buying players doesn't matter. If you can tell me buying players. With the issue of Man City and Norwich City, we don't need to go and watch the match. We'll have awarded the 3 points to City.
Arsenal has never won a league in a long time is experience. You need to get the players when you get into that second half.
Okay, give me the reason why Man U are very. I want to ask you a question.
You have experienced players who can actually go to the field and make things happen.
Wow. Give me the reason why Manchester United have won league for so many times without experience. Give me the experienced players in between them. Wow. I want to know. Is Cleverley an experienced player? Is Jones an experienced player? Is Evans an experienced player? They are not.
Oh, wow.
Patrice Evans is one of the most experienced players in the Premier League. One of the best 3 in the world is Patrice Evans.
So guys at home,
can the tree make a forest?
Guys at home, you can see what I'm dealing with. This young man, the debate is getting so hot right now, but they still haven't told us who's going to win the Spanish league. So quickly before we go on the short break, if someone had to give you $1 million right now and said you have to make a decision on who is winning the Spanish league, who would you put your money on?
Still very dicey. You know me for one thing.
No, but
I would rather sit on the fence. You know why?
You rather sit on the fence.
You know, I sat on the fence against Ghana when Ike was saying that, oh, Ghana is, and I told him, forget about that.
Kolege has too much money clearly.
Ghana didn't lose the game.
Yes.
You know,
what happened?
They got a draw at the end of this. At the end of the 90 minutes was a draw.
So with you, Alex,
in Spanish league, I think Barcelona having Messi back is a great plus for them.
So for you, Barcelona to win the league, is this what you're telling me?
It's going to affect the results.
So Barcelona to win the league. And Mr. Ige, have you come off the fence now to answer the question for us?
It's still a little bit very dicey.
Okay,
I'm still gonna
but I'm saying if you had to make a decision, it was a matter of life and death.
Madrid can win it.
Real Madrid to win it.
At least
finally we got something.
I think
he jumped from the fence.
But because I just want to agree in between because this is still a race that is still more open.
It's a very open race.
It's a very open. We're talking about this is the first. Premiership
is one of the
La Liga that I really enjoy.
Okay.
I'm telling you that you cannot really say.
Well, guys, this is so sad. Just when the conversation was heating up and they were about to just go at it again, we sadly have to let them go. And we're not sending them away based on bad behavior because they've been very entertaining today. I'm sure all of you at home would agree. So thank you so much, guys, for coming to the studio. And you know, you're always welcome here to Football Focus.
Thank you.
All right. The show continues. We'll be back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. I know this is the part of the show you've all been waiting for. You've been waiting to hear the latest gossip in the world of football. In our first story, a Kenyan fan who happens to support Liverpool was tragically stabbed to death by an Arsenal supporter following the 5-1 demolition of Arsenal at the Anfield Stadium. The two men were watching the game together at a bar in a town called Meru in Kenya. An argument escalated and tragically the Liverpool fan lost his life. May his soul rest in peace. But guys, it is just a game of football. Relax. We don't need to fight over these games because at the end of the day, these players are not going to share the money with us, really. Now to our next news. Nigerian coach Stephen Keshi could be the next coach of Bafana Bafana after the World Cup. The South African Football Association is keen to hire this manager for the national team. Now, I'm not sure whether Stephen Keshi would actually go for the money and join Bafana Bafana. That will be interesting, especially if he could take the same philosophy and formula that he's had with the Super Eagles and he puts it to Bafana Bafana, and this gamble works. It will just be so amazing to see. It remains to be seen. In our next news, there is speculation going around that Mario Balotelli could become an Arsenal player this summer. Arsene Wenger has been meeting up with delegates in Italy for a possible transfer of the region of 25 million. Is 25 million a good enough fee for a hot-tempered player who might end up even beating Arsene Wenger at the end of the day? You never know. This Mario Balotelli can be a thug at times. I'm not sure whether this would be a good transfer for Arsenal, if this is what they need, but this might just be speculation. It remains to be seen what happens with that. In our next news, could you believe this? The Iranian women's national team, it has been discovered that there have been 4 men playing for their national team, and now they have to run gender tests on everybody. This is so funny. These men have been competing with women, and I just wonder if they've been banging in the goals. They've been cheated, really. It is some funny news. I wonder what you guys think about it at home. Now going to Spain, Lionel Messi helps Barcelona to set up yet again another El Clasico final showpiece. Now, these teams have met 6 times and they've won 3 apiece. Now, whoever wins this El Clasico final, it will be the first trophy, Copa del Rey trophy, for each of these coaches who have just recently joined their teams in the summer. Now to our next news. This next news is not as funny as the rest of the news I've read. It is actually sad news. Africa has lost one of his great sons in the form of Dennis Lotter. He was a legend, he was a great football, he was a great example to all Africans across the board through his footballing talents and also the great sterling job he did for Morocco Swallows. Zambia will miss you, the world will miss you, and on behalf of the crew of the World Football Focus, we would like to say, give our condolences to your family, to your fans, and may your soul rest in peace. Welcome back. Like I promised you before the ad break, the World Football Focus has put together a team specially for you of the Africans plying their trade overseas that have shone so bright this last week. Here is the team. Enjoy. Our goalkeeper of the week is none other than Nigerian international Vincent Inyama, who plays for Lille. Vincent Inyama made a clean sheet on Saturday night during the match against Sochaux in the 24th day of League One. Reassuring in its cages, Inyama has contributed to the victory of his team, 2-0, which allows the Northern squad to regain his place on the podium. In defense, we have Joel Matip of Cameroon, who plays for Schalke 04, face-to-face with the Senegalese striker of Hannover Diouf. Joel Matip has shown his great defensive qualities and reassured his teammates by his actions. After winning Hannover this week, Schalke 04 are 2 points behind Borussia Dortmund. Also in defense, we have Nicolas Nkulu of Marseille. The Cameroonian international held his role of Marseille's defense as the leader in their large win against Bastille with the score of 3-0. His interventions helped a lot against Bastille's quick counter-attacks. We also have Carlo Torre of Liverpool. The Ivorian defender was not worried to face his former club, Arsenal. Liverpool have managed to quickly impose a large score against Arsenal 5-1. The last member of our defensive quartet is Fozo Goulam of Napoli. The Algerian international starting the match for the first time since his arrival in Napoli. Goulam, who played in the left back, has contributed to Napoli's great success. They beat AC Milan 3-1. As usual, Goulam was distinguished by his precise crosses and penetrations, which were nightmares to Milan's defense. In midfield, we have Agiyemang Badu of Ghana, who plays for Udinese. Udinese secured a comfortable victory this weekend against Chievo Verona 3-0, and the Ghanaian Black Star midfielder scored the third goal with a beautiful strike in the 86th minute of the game. Also making our team is Paul Jose Mpoku of Standard Liège in Belgium. The Congolese Belgium midfielder was the author of the first goal of his club against Zulte Waregem. The game ended with the score of 2-0, and Standard Liège continues to lead the standings with 12 points ahead of Anderlecht. Next up is Sifiani Figoli of Valencia. The Algerian started 2014 on the right track after being appointed man of the match last weekend in their matchup against Barcelona. Figoli never ceased to amaze, this time by scoring the third goal of his team's demolition of Real Betis 5-0, a goal that shows his great finishing skills. From Ghana, Abdul Majid Waris, the young Ghanaian striker from Valenciennes, who came on loan from Spartak Moscow, was decisive in the 24th leg of League One against Nice. The Black Star confirmed his talent with an assist and a goal, offering his team a 2-1 victory. In the striking department, we have Emmanuel Adebayo of Togo. The Tottenham striker has returned to his starting place since the arrival of Tim Sherwood. Again, Adebayo was decisive, scoring the winning goal against Everton after a great control followed by a strong shot that left the keeper with no chance. Partnering Emmanuel Adebayo in the striking department is Sami Alogui of Hertha Berlin. The Tunisian scored his 7th goal in the Bundesliga this weekend, as he gave his teammates a major boost by scoring the first goal against Hamburg. With this win, Hertha Berlin climbed to 7th place with 31 points. So that makes up our news for this week. Please tell us if you agree with every name that made this list. We'll be back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the World Football Focus. I hope you're thoroughly enjoying the show so far. Well, it is a World Cup year, and on the show, we always profile a team every single week. Today's team we will be profiling is Mexico. Enjoy this short clip.
Mexico scraped into the pot for the World Cup draw after a qualification campaign that was little short of disastrous. The Central Americans only managed 2 wins in 10 games in the final stage of CONCACAF qualifying. 3 coaches, Jose Manuel de la Torre, Luis Fernando Tena and Victor Vucetic, were all fired before Miguel Herrera guided Mexico to a 9-3 aggregate triumph over New Zealand in their intercontinental playoff. Herrera has now been handed charge of the team for the World Cup, where vast improvement will be needed if they are to make an impact. Mexico have made the round of 16 for the last 5 tournaments without managing to progress any further. Their key player during the tournament will be Manchester United striker Javier Hernandez, who has scored 35 goals in 57 appearances for his country. The 25-year-old is likely to be the main hope of them getting to the elusive quarter-finals.
Hope you enjoyed that short clip you just saw. Mexico is clearly a very dangerous team and shouldn't be underestimated. It will be interesting to see how far they go in this year's World Cup. Now to our controversial moment of the week. Was this a penalty? Please send us your views on Facebook. You could also tweet us and send us emails to let us know if this was the wrong decision by the referee. On that note, this wraps up another amazing episode of the World Football Focus. Make sure you join us same time next week. Goodbye.
At the feet of Karim Benzema. Di Maria to Ronaldo.
Ooh, I tell you what,
is the ball.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, eh? Does look as if he gets a nudge in the back, doesn't he?
Mascherano certainly makes
good enough, but they give him. Look how much space they give him here. It's contact in his back, isn't there? Is that enough for a penalty? I'm sure everybody watching